You're listening to the Things Podcast, brought to you by the Things Industries.
Hi, everybody. This is Alix Paultre, and I'm here at the Things Conference with Jamin Morrison. He is with Lacuna Space, and welcome to Earth, huh? Back to Lacuna is in space, but your devices, I imagine, you don't have people up there yet.
Not just yet. Devices on the Earth, satellites in space. Going around the Earth at about 90 minutes per orbit. So you get about 16 orbits a day, allowing us to get many, many messages back from our devices on the ground.
So walk us through it. Lacuna Space has got devices in orbit. You're doing things like asset tracking and the like. Tell us some more about what you're doing.
So the core concept at Lacuna is that we have these devices on the ground, and we've spent the last 9 years perfecting a satellite technology called Lone Whisper technology. So this allows us to get the messages back to the satellite, and then we forward them on to the application servers. So this is where you see your graphs, your charts, your tables, and your alarms to say when's an action point has happened that you need to make a decision on. So that's the kind of the core technology that we do. More recently, we've been focused on serving as many real applications as we can. In combination with continuing to build the satellite network, we've launched 2 more satellites this year, and we've got another 4 more coming up towards the end of the year. We've also started to work more on the applications, as I've said. Key point there is that we've got 4 different verticals that we're looking to target most. They are agricultural, the marine environment, environmental sensors, and asset tracking, as you identified. So that's kind of a big bit of what we're going and focusing on at the Horizon.
But it makes a lot of sense. Those are all application spaces that can be well served by orbital assets, because remoteness is one of the big issues.
Remoteness is one of the huge issues in IoT. Like terrestrial networks, they only ever really get to about 70, maybe 80% coverage, and the rest is just kind of lost as dead spots, because it's not economically viable to keep putting up gateways to be able to deliver the service. So you get so many dead spots, which is where we come in. We're not looking to replace terrestrial networks per se. We're looking to extend them to allow them to have 100% coverage globally.
Got it. So you mentioned quite a few application spaces. Are there any specific spaces that have really recognized what you're doing and are coming to you for assistance?
Yeah, for sure. So this year, a lot of my focus has been on water quality sensors. So in the UK, river quality is at an absolute diabolical level. They have been decimated by a number of companies, the water industry, but also the water industry through sewage outflows, where sewage gets dumped in the river, but also through farming, where farmers are maybe a bit not doing as much as they could to ensure that fertilizers don't end up in the water. This then leads to an issue where you're having lots of nutrient pollution, phosphates and nitrates in the river that decimating ecosystems. So what we've been doing is working with local councils who have a real need to ensure that these water systems can remain stable. Part of that need is driven by, in the UK, you can't get planning permission unless you ensure that the building you're making is going to have a positive impact on the environment. It has a biodiversity net gain regulations, which means that you need to make sure that you can monitor how much pollution is going in the rivers. So we've teamed up with Welsh local councils to develop a solution that involves integrating complex sensors into our device and getting that data back from very tough environments. With rivers, it's a great application for satellite IoT because they're always at the bottom of a valley, which traditionally is not where you'll find terrestrial signal. They came to us after, and these locations, they had previously tried terrestrial and cellular, LoRaWAN and cellular connectivity, and both of those options failed.
Really? Well, in an earlier conversation today, I was talking with a gentleman about that exact fact, that in a modern device that is supposed to function in a cloud environment, it has to be multimodal. It has to be multi-protocol. It can't just be Wi-Fi or just Bluetooth or just cellular. It has to have space, non-terrestrial networks involved. It has to have maybe some low-power, long-range stuff, LoRaWAN. But a modern advanced device should not have just one wireless protocol inside of it today.
No, definitely not. And this conference, I do a lot of work also. So we provide solutions from Lacuna, but we also have a number of solution providers who also have many other clients. I mean, there's so many applications for IoT that we couldn't serve them all ourselves at Lacuna because it takes domain expertise knowledge and also people in that local space, people who understand that local environment. And so we try to enable as many other solution providers we can with our satellite technology so they can go away and solve those solutions with problems that they can have. So help develop the IoT industry so that solution providers can offer, as part of their toolkit, satellite IoT. And that's what Lacuna is about.
Excellent, Jamin. Because when you think about that, we're all trying to solve those problems, but we sometimes get lost in the woods of the available technologies to address those solutions, and some overuse and some underuse.
Yeah, I think it's funny because when we speak to people, like sometimes they underuse technology. Lots of the people we're speaking to, just the gentleman just there, lots of the data tracking they're still doing with a pen and paper. So there's people at that stage. There's people still using legacy technologies that were installed 30 years ago in a water utilities plant that the guy who, installed that is now retired and no one really knows how it works. So they're just crossing their fingers and hope that it doesn't break anytime soon. So yeah, these are the people we're coming back with, working with retrofitting solutions to ensure everything stays online, really.
Nice. So now, are there any aspects of Lacuna that we haven't mentioned that you think our audience should know about?
So one of the big things about us at the minute is we're, for the last 9 years, we've been developing this technology. We've been using LRFHSS connectivity to allow us to get high density satellite IoT operational. One thing that we're kind of being more and more open about now is our constellation itself. So we have a deal that we will sell the Lone Whisper technology to people, and that includes a satellite gateway. So you could go out and purchase a satellite gateway from us. We'd help you get it flown on a satellite, and it would form part of our constellation in a packet sharing agreement. So how that would work is, naturally, any service that you sell to your satellite goes to you, but your satellite would also collect packets from our devices, and then those would get shared with us. And additionally, the key bit for you is that you would also gain access to the capacity on the rest of our constellation. So any packets from your devices that get collected from by the rest of our satellites also get forwarded. So you're therefore not just getting one satellite, you're kind of buying entry into a constellation, and we call it our network concept. It's not something we're just talking about. This is something we're actively doing. We've already had 3 from Omnispace, DS Telecom, and OneWeb. We've also all flown one of our payloads, allowing their customers to receive our connectivity. And so it's a powerful effect.
And it must be cool working with space to be able to say, hey, satellites in orbit that I deal with.
Yeah, it's honestly amazing. Like when I first started at Lacuna, I was there assembling, building the satellites. I was just planning out their orbits. So now for me to be at the full other end, providing solutions to people, working, and being able to see the customer's face again. Because often in engineering you're tied down, but being able to go out and work to people, tell them the good news about satellite, and seeing that solution come through and that smile. It's great.
Very cool. I really appreciate you taking the time to sit with us today and talk about Lacuna. And I'm impressed with the company myself. I think you've done a great job.
Thank you very much, Alex. It's always a pleasure.